Bear with me one sec. Bear with me one sec. All right. Shalom. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabarak, to all my brothers. Yahweh Shemalatha Bashim, Yahweh Shad, all my sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the blacks, Hispanics, and natives that they are the Most High's true and only chosen people. And what being that comes a set of responsibilities. And those responsibilities is to love one another as the law has dictated, because that is the whole purpose of the law. The law is for us to take care of each other and love each other properly and perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And today's class is the Christmas spirit. I mean, yeah, the Christmas spirit is basically it's tied and forever bonded to the Christian prosperity doctrine. If you don't know what the Christian prosperity doctrine is, it's a doctrine that teaches blacks and Hispanics, because the Catholic Church don't teach this, white churches don't teach this. It's a doctrine that teaches that gain is close to godliness. The more you have, the more God has blessed you. All your blessings are of some material gain, and that's completely not true. Everything is a double-edged sword. You might think that you winning $1,000,000, and that $1,000,000 end up having you ODing on heroin or fentanyl or something. Not everything that you receive of material gain is actually a blessing. In fact, the Most High don't even care about your riches or your material gain and the greed that you may have for them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all might want to pray all day about winning the lottery, or pray about somebody drops a bag in front of you or whatever, but that has nothing to do with the Most High. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to open up the class to some questions. If you have any questions, I will open up the class to some questions. We are only on Facebook and YouTube today. We're going to open up the class to some questions. It's very simple. You know what I'm saying? I'll give y'all a couple of seconds to share and Write your questions down if you have any. As you do that, I'm going to share a few times myself, because if I share it everywhere, man, it'll take for freaking ever. All right, we're going to get into it. I see no questions up here. Get a couple of more in, a couple more in. All right. Let's start off with Matthew 6 and 21. Let's go with Matthew 6 and 21. Now understand this. Chris the greed of the holiday season is not something that, came by because Christmas is around. Nah. The greed of the holiday season started back when the holiday season started, which is about Halloween. Now, what's the greed of Halloween? See, this greed is something that is taught to us as little kids. We're little kids. We want to go trick or treating. We want to get all the candy we possibly could get. We want the big candy bars, not the little ones. You know what I'm saying? We want all the candy. Then we get older, we start robbing little kids for candies. You know what I'm saying? We start robbing a little kid for their candy because, none of these people are looking at us as virtually grown men still trick or treating. You know what I'm saying? So greed starts in the holiday season of Halloween. And then once Halloween is over, then we move on to Thanksgiving. Now, what's the greed of Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving, you want to eat the biggest plate, all the turkey, all the food you want, have no cares in the world. You know what I'm saying? Eating up all the turkey and the cranberry sauce till you just stomach is hurting as if nobody else needs food in the world. And you don't even care about the pain that the Native Americans are going through that day. You don't care about the pain that the Pequot natives are going through that day. You know what I'm saying? How their people were literally cooked that day too. They were literally trapped in the buildings and the buildings were set on fire. And that's the greed of Thanksgiving. And then after that, you got Black Friday. What's the greed of Black Friday, man? You are knocking over the oldest of women just to get a $300 50-inch TV. Elbowing the old ladies in the face, stomping on pregnant women in their bellies, man. All types of hell goes on Black Friday. All types of hell. Just showing your greed. You got to get the best price. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to hustle and bustle and, give out a few elbows, trip. You don't care what you got to do. You're going to get those best prices. You don't care who you got to hurt in your path. And there's all types of videos of this online. You can see people standing in line patiently, but as soon as those doors open, people are getting trampled. You lose all sense of adulthood and maturity and discipline and resort back to a child rushing in to get something. You know what I'm saying? Then we have the greediest holiday of them all. You know what I'm saying? The greediest holiday, which is, Christmas. Christmas, the greed of Christmas is gifts, gifts, gifts. You want all the gifts. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be the season of giving, but nobody's out there giving to anybody of any need. They only giving out to that woman that you got that wants all the rings and jewelry. She's just going to give you a pair of socks. To those kids who ain't even do all their homework, of getting C's and D's in school, and you're going to oblige them because you have the greed of being that man, being being appreciated, being recognized. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing but greed within this holiday season. You know why? Because that's all y'all think about. That's all y'all want. And we're gonna go into Matthew 6 and 21. That's the scripture we're going into right now. So if you're there, read along with me. Give y'all a couple of seconds. Matthew 6 and 21. If you're there, read along with me. Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Like every Christian like to say, the Lord knows my heart. The Lord knows my heart. God knows my heart. Yeah, he does. And he knows it's deceitful among anything else. And your treasure is where your heart is. Like when you hear the word heart in the Bible, it's not talking about your emotions. It's not talking about love. It's talking about your mind. It's talking about the way you think, your desires. And where your treasure is, those are the things that you desire. Those are the things that you want. Those are the things that's on your mind. And in the Christian church that preach this prosperity doctrine about, you know what I'm saying, you only live once, you know what I'm saying, the man ain't got a job, you can leave him, you know what I'm saying, like, I ain't gonna fully, well, nah, they're Christians too. Even those purple cats, man, they out there, they preach the prosperity doctrine too. You know what I'm saying? If a man don't have a job, they'll straight up tell the woman that she can leave him. That she could leave him, and next thing you know, they in that woman's in their bed. You know what I'm saying? That's prosperity doctrine. They I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's a post going on Facebook where they give this rapper who's a millionaire, one of the best rappers. I'll say he's probably a top 10 rapper of all time. They gave Kendrick Lamar a gift full of shirts, and there's so many poor people in the world that they could have gave clothes to. There's so many poor people in their congregation that they could have gave clothes to. But did they? No. They want to give it to a rapper who has all the money in the world, who could have actually bought those shirts if he wanted them. I doubt he will wear those shirts anywhere publicly. But they call it a marketing ploy. Why do they need a marketing ploy? Because they're greedy. They're greedy. And that's where their mind is. Their mind wants that money. That's where their heart is. Their heart wants that money. They want Kendrick Lamar in their congregation so they could get 10, 20, I don't know how many percent they take from their parishioners. Because that's what they are in that church, parishioners. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do over there. But not just over there. Let's look at an article real quick. There's another pastor. There's another pastor, just like the ones in the purple church, that will march for will march down the street for a rich man and block off traffic from people that actually got to work for a living for a rich man who has no worries in the world, while they do not march for the poor and do nothing for the poor. But let me show you what this rich pastor did. Let me get to the screen share real quick. Let me get to the screen share. I want to show y'all a couple of pastors that have the spirit of greed in them. You know what I'm saying? This is Bishop, you know, just like in those purple camps, their leaders are called bishops also. Bishop Lamar Whitehead. Lamar Miller Whitehead, the High Living Church bishop who became famous after he was robbed mid-sermon on a live stream in July 2022. Now let me show you something. Let me show you something. This is the spirit of Christmas all around. You know what I'm saying? Look at this man. He got a Fendi suit on, all the gold and the diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Who knows how much those pink frames cost? I don't know why you wearing gold and pink. It don't rock. But he made himself a target. I don't know if you've seen his live streams, but he's literally flossing. Now everybody's speculating that the robbery was staged, but even if it wasn't staged, even those brothers that robbed him had the spirit of Christianity on them because their greed wanted to rob him of all the jewelry that he had. Like there was no other route to get it, no other route to solve their problems. I could tell you a route to solve their problems right now. It's called the ISUPK. But that's what people, black and Hispanics and natives do during this time because we got to get the Christmas gifts. So we out there robbing, stealing, you know what I'm saying? Committing all types of crime. Women are out there to make some money so they can get their kids gifts. They out there selling their tail, doing something strange for a little bit of change. You know what I'm saying? All for the spirit of Christianity, which is the spirit of prosperity, which is the spirit of Christmas. The kids just gotta have Christmas gifts. It's a must. They don't want their kids to feel left out. They don't want them to feel left out. Well, guess what? If you never taught them Christmas, they would have never felt left out. They would have thought of it as something weird. Because from the outside looking in, Christmas just looks weird. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue on with the screen share real quick. You know what I'm saying? Lamar Whitehead, the high living church bishop who became famous after he was robbed, mid sermon on a live stream in July 2022, has been arrested and charged with fraud and extortion. He was charged with fraud and extortion. Those are two crimes of greed right there. According to the December 19th press release from a U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York, Miller is charged with defrauding one of his parishioners out of part of her retirement savings. These Christian pastors don't give a damn about your grandma. Grandma about to retire. She probably been driving a bus for 50 years. And that church pastor will rob her. Attempted to extort and defraud a businessman and lying to the FBI. The 45-year-old pastor of Leaders of Tomorrow International Church was arrested early Monday. Yep, the Monday that just passed. You know what I'm saying? That's what this man, you can read the documents yourself. But let me jump down a bit. The release quoted U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, who said in part, Lamar Whitehead abused the trust placed in him by a parishioner, bullied a businessman for $5,000, then tried to defraud him for far more than that, and lied to federal agents. Like extortion, that's like, it makes you wonder what is he extorting them for? You know what I'm saying? What is he extorting them for? But let's drop down a little more. Indictments unsealed in federal court stated that the pastor induced one parishioner to part with 90,000 in retirement savings. 90,000. Got that woman for $90,000 and there's more and more money. More and more and more. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. That is crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could read the article yourself. It's posted up all over Facebook. These Christian pastors are teaching you the spirit of Christmas by robbing your grandmother. Now, who knows what your grandma got to do to keep her bills on? You know what I'm saying? Keep the heat in the house. keep the gas in the stove. You know what I'm saying? To buy the grandkids some gifts this winter. See, that's the spirit of Christmas right there. To rob and steal from each other, just so we could be better and look more prosperous than other people. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get let's go to First Timothy 6. Let's go to First Timothy 6. Let me type it in here. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to get there with me. First Timothy. Now Christians love to say gainliness is close to godliness, but my question is, where's that in the Bible? That's nowhere in the Bible. I know I searched for it, particularly for this class. I was searching all over for it. It's not even in there. It's fake. It's made up. But let's get with it. First Timothy, chapter 6, verse 5 through 10. Oh yeah, and if you want your attendance counted for class, type in your name and your city. Type in your name and your city in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I can see both chats, the YouTube and the Facebook, and your name will be accounted for. All right. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 5. Perverse disputing of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth. Like these are men of no integrity. They're just the average brothers you see on the streets. Average brothers, you know what I'm saying, with no type of strong moral backing. They're just men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth. They know nothing of the truth. In other words, they're evil brothers. They know nothing of the truth. Their mind is corrupted because of the oppression that we're going through. And the Christian church telling them that gain is next to godliness. Christian church telling them you only live once. You know what I'm saying? All the pressures on the world to make them keep up with the Joneses. So their mind is corrupt. Let's continue. They're destitute of the truth. They are destitute of truth because they were never taught it. And that's what we're feeling. We're feeling because we ain't reaching out far enough, but we're trying, we're getting there. You see the airwaves are opening up. We're doing what we can, and the Most High is getting who He wants. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Supposing that gain is godliness, they thinking gain is godliness. Supposing that gain is godliness, they think that it is, because these men don't have no upbringing. These men don't have no moral fibers in them to have them uphold whatever integrity that they have. No, they just want it. They just want to get it. So they suppose gain is godliness. Let's continue. From such withdraw thyself. From those type of brothers, withdraw yourself. Don't be around brothers like that too much because they're going to end up getting you in some BS, or they end up going to be using you for what they need to use you for. Like that's what the Christian pastor would do. You know, there's a comedian out there who got a video out there when the pastor trying to get more than he was willing to give the pastor for tithes. You know what I'm saying? The video's hilarious. But the messaging of it is that's what the church is doing. They're greedy. They're greedy. Plain and simple, greedy. You know what I'm saying? Verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. What is godliness with contentment? Do y'all know what contentment is? Let me tell you. Contentment is being satisfied with what you got. That's where the great gain comes from. Is being satisfied with what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like you might not got the newest Jordans, but you got something on your feet to get you from here to there. You're content with it. You know what I'm saying? That's contentment with gain. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't out there robbing a brother who just bought a box of Jordans. You ain't out there robbing them. Now you don't have to worry about going to jail. You don't have to worry about retaliation. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. That sounds self-explanatory. I don't think I need to break that down. We came in with nothing, we leave with nothing. So anything else that we got is gain. And we should be content with what we have. Let's continue. Verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Man, we got food. We got clothes on our backs. You know what I'm saying? Got a roof over our head. Let's just be content with that. See, a lot of y'all ain't content with that. A lot of y'all just have to go out there and sell your tail for a PS5 that ain't even going to be out when you got the money to get it. So now you got to buy something else. You're selling your moral fibers, giving up all your integrity just to keep up with the Joneses, just to participate in a holiday that is based off such pagan rituals and evil. Just to partake in something that your master tells you to partake in. You willing to sell your tail for that, just so your master can be pleased with you. So you can give all your money back to them instead of using it for the tool that money is. That's all money is for. It's a tool. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. You chasing that bag. This is something that everybody in the hood should understand. I don't know why we keep on following for the same old banana in the tailpipe. You know what I'm saying? But we keep on falling for it. Chasing money only leads to the grave or jail. Chasing that bag is never a good idea. There's women on OnlyFans right now chasing that bag, going through all types of mental anguish. There's women on the street corners right now chasing money just so they can get high. You know what I'm saying? There's people right now selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? So they can get that bag. You know what I'm saying? What is this going to do for them at the end? It's going to either have them in jail or it's going to have them in the grave. Those are the two options of chasing the bag. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Oh, Salakia. How the hell that happened? I don't know, my phone just did something weird. But verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Like what Biggie say? More money, more problems. Guess what? It's true. More money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? We're going to show some of those problems in a sec. But let's get to the basics of it. When you're rich, yeah, you got to worry about your money and losing it, get robbed and getting, embezzled and frauded. You got to worry about that. But what you don't seem to think about is your woman leaving you for somebody that she's more happy with, because that's what the Christian church teaches them to do. If you're not happy, leave. Or your children being spoiled and not respecting you. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with riches, and there's more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. For the love, listen, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let me explain to you what it means. Your greed is the root of all evil. Greed is the root of all evil. You willing to, okay, I understand people's mind thoughts in this, but a brother will sell drugs just to say he got to feed his family, right? That's greed. He's willing to throw somebody else's family down the toilet for his own. It's a shameful thing to do. But let me put it on the other foot. There was a Caucasian man named Lyle Cohen, or Cohen Lyle, or Lyle Cohen, right? He's a big music executive. He was part of Def Jam and all that. He's big time, right? He's one of those issues. He's an issue with the small hat. And they literally, he literally was on the Breakfast Club talking to Charlemagne. And Charlemagne was questioning him on why is he, if he don't agree with the lifestyle that's being put in his music, why is he selling it? And you know what his response was? He got to feed his kids. He got people to feed. So he was willing to throw black people down the toilet so he could feed his family. That's greed. But that's what a lot of drug dealers would do too. I got to feed my kids. And that's greed. Treasures where the heart is. And now you doing that, chasing that bag, it's your family that's going to end up hurt. It's your family that's going to end up destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Let me read that back from the top again. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Plain and simple. It's the love of it. Your greed for it. You know what I'm saying? Not recognizing that it's only good enough to be a tool for what you need. It's a tool. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Which while some coveted after, like a lot of y'all coveting after money. A lot of y'all covet after material riches and material gain. Y'all covet it. Y'all want it. Y'all get jealous of people who have it. Y'all are coveting these things and are willing to get it by any means necessary. There is somebody that's going to be murdered over a PS5 this winter. There is somebody that's going to be murdered over a Chanel bag or red bottoms or whatever you women are wearing. There's somebody that's going to be murdered for some Jordans because they coveted it, and that's where their heart is. They don't care who they got to hurt, who they got to kill. They got a goal, and they're going to get it. Let's continue. They that erred from the faith, they that erred from the faith. Who erred from the faith with this mind state? Who erred from the faith coveting after material riches and gain? Your Christian pastor, your Muslim imams, you fake Israelite leaders. Y'all erred from the faith. Y'all did. Because y'all rather take care of y'all greedy bellies than look out for those who actually need it. You know what I'm saying? Let's finish it up. And pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You chasing that, all you're going to do is run across sorrows. All you're going to do is have more and more pain because you want to chase this greed. You want to chase this bag. You want to have a great Christmas with your kids, and you are going into debt. You're going to have to play catch up with the rent till April. You won't even be right with the rent till April just to celebrate Christmas, just to keep up with the Joneses and the Smiths, just to keep up with our master, just so your kids can participate in something that they don't even understand. Hell, you don't even understand it. You don't understand the pagan roots of Christmas. You don't understand it at all. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand what Saturnalia is. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand the Babylonian history of cutting off people's heads and sticking them on top of evergreen trees. You don't understand none of that. But you're just gonna blindly let your kids participate in something just so they can't feel left out. And all that's making them do is become greedier and greedier and greedier. You even will let your kids go to the mall and sit on a grown man's lap who most likely has a sexual charge on him or sexual offense, because those dudes don't get paid much. The only people that's willing to take that job as a Santa is somebody who needs it. Somebody who's been to jail and most likely has some type of pedophilia offense on them already and got plans on kidnapping your child. And you just letting your child sit on this grown man's lap. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Where we gonna go next? Let's go to Mark 10 and 17. I'm gonna put my whole thing on it. I might not get through the whole thing. We're gonna go through Mark 10 and 17 through 27. I'm noticing that the scriptures are only popping up on the YouTube. So if you find me on YouTube, the scriptures seem to be popping up on YouTube and not Facebook. But matter of fact, I got a trick for that too. No, that's not it. Hold on. I'm gonna put the first one up, second one up, third one up. All right. All right. That's where we're at right now. We at Mark 10 and 17. If you're there, read along with me. And when he was going forth, oh, Salakia, Mark chapter 10, verse 17. And when he was going forth into the way, there came one running and knelt to him and asked him, Good master, what shall I do? What shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? That's the goal, right? There's this man who came up to Christ, straight up and down asked him, What must I do to gain eternal life? Like if you look at pastors like Whitehead and you look up people like so many pastors out there, if you look at them, they might look at you like a bum no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? People look at rich people as the godly ones. You know what I'm saying? They look at them like they the righteous ones. But this man came up to Christ straight up and down and said, What I gotta do to into the kingdom of heaven? And people what Christ's answer is. You know what I'm saying? First he checks him, then he answers his question. Verse 18. And Jesus said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none but one. There's none good but one, and that is God. So Christ is straight up telling them, checking them real quick, giving them a quick checking. Look, why are you calling me good? Don't call me good. There's only one good, and that's God. I'm not God. You know what I'm saying? Which curbs another Christian doctrine right there. That shoots down another Christian doctrine because the simple fact is, a lot of Christians like to teach you that Jesus is God. But nope, Christ right here just straight up and down said, there's none good but God. Don't, why you calling me good? I'm not good. There's none good but God. Straight up and down. But here's the answer to his question, right? Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Defraud not. Honor thy mother, thy father and mother. These are the commandments. These are the laws of God, which dictates us to love each other, right? But guess what? During this Christmas holiday, all those laws are getting thrown out the window. All those laws are getting thrown out the window. That little bastard that you got in front of you, you don't get him that PS5, he's gonna hate you for the next 12 months till you get it. So he ain't honor his mother and father. There's so much murdering and robbing and stealing, and you know what I'm saying, so much, adultery and fornication being committed during this time of year, all for Christmas. But let's continue. And he answered and said unto him, this is the man's response, Master, all these have I observed from my youth. So he's saying, I've been doing this. I did all that. That's all I do. Right? Christ's response to that. Then Jesus, beholding him, loved him and said unto him, like, oh, that's all you do? Yo, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's some good stuff right there. Giving him his props and everything. That's beautiful. So he's going to test him. He's about to test him. Peep the test. Beholding him, loved him and said unto him, one thing thou lackest. There's one thing that you're missing, though. Go thy way, sell whatsoever thou hast. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Christ straight up telling them, yo, that's good that you're doing all that, but sell everything that you got. Sell everything that you got. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you have, sell it. Not very difficult, not a hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Sell whatsoever thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. So give it to the poor. Straight up and down, give it to the poor. Sell whatever you got, give it to the poor. That sounds like a very righteous thing to do. Give up everything you have and give it to the poor. Do you think Bishop Lamar Whitehead is doing that? How about TD Jakes? You think he gonna do that? How about any of these, like what's the other one? Something Dollar, Creflo Dollar, Juanita Bynum. How about Farrakhan? You think he gonna do that? Think he gonna sell everything he have and give it to the poor? There's a lot of poor people in Chicago. Farrakhan ain't giving them a dime. You know what I'm saying? I used to be in the Nation of Islam, and I only seen them have a food drive one time, and that was recently, and they ain't have one since. You know what I'm saying? So are they going to give to the poor? You know what I'm saying? What about your bishop and the fake Israelite groups and your so-called elders? I never see them helping the poor. I never seen them in those purple and those fringes helping no poor. I never seen it. Are they doing it? No, they're not. They brag and advertise everything else. I'm pretty sure they would have bragged and advertised that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And come, take up the cross and follow me. So come take up that cross and follow him. What is that cross? That cross is this burden of being a priest. That's the cross. This burden of being a priest, putting your life on the line for your people. That's the burden. That's the cross. Putting your life on the line for your own people. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Verse 22. And he was sad at that saying and went away grieved, for he had great possessions. And Jesus looked round about and saith unto his disciples, hold on, let's go back to 22. And he was sad at the saying. So that Christ telling him to sell his stuff and give it to the poor made him sad. It depressed him. Like it would do most Christian pastors. Like it would do most of these so-called spiritual leaders and political leaders, you know, so-called black is Hispanic leaders, man. You tell them to give up everything they got and give it to the poor. They ain't gonna know what you're talking about. You're gonna be spitting a foreign language to them. They're gonna understand one word that you're saying because they hate their people. They literally hate them. They look down on them. That brother that's in front of McDonald's panhandling, opening up the door for him, he hates him. He ain't gonna give that man a dime. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Verse 23. Verse 22. And went away grieved. That means he was depressed, hurt, for he had great possessions. He was a rich man. And for a rich man to give up his goods, that is a hard thing to do. That is a hard thing to do. Let's continue. And Jesus looked round about and saith unto his disciples, like, and said unto his disciples, how hardly shall they that have riches enter the kingdom of heaven? Like these cats that have riches, that are super rich like that, it's going to be hard for them to get to the kingdom of heaven, man. You know why? They could be as righteous as can be. It's just that they don't have the love of their people in their heart. They could follow every law, but if they ain't willing to give up their goods, give up their greed of living deliciously while their people out here suffering, then they ain't gonna make it to the kingdom. That lascivious, that greed is what's gonna hold them back into making the kingdom. They can follow every law to the letter. Cause that's all they're doing. They're following it to the letter. They're not following it by the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But let's get with it. Verse 24. And the disciples were astonished at his words. But Jesus answereth again and saith unto them, children. So, like, they were amazed at what Christ was saying right now. I guess this man followed all the law. And it's still going to be hard for him to make it. Like, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. He says, and the disciples were astonished at his words. But Yahushua answereth again and saith unto them, children, how hard is it for them that trust in riches to enter into the kingdom of God? How hard is it? That's a question. How hard is it? Let's get the answer. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And they were astonished out of measure, saying among themselves, who then can be saved? Like, man, if a rich man who's following the law can't be saved, then who can? Like, now why are they having respect as a person at this conjuncture? You know what I'm saying? Which is something that we have a problem with as a people. You know what I'm saying? We respect those that are rich. We listen to those that are rich. So even the disciples stumbled at this for a second. Because when Christ broke that down to them, they're like, well, then who can be saved? If he can't make it, then who the hell am I? But they actually didn't recognize who they were. They didn't actually recognize the sacrifices they were doing. They were brothers that left their family. They gave up everything they had and they didn't have much. And a rich man can't give up everything he got and he has a lot. Well, he's not better than you. He's not better than you. You're more fit. But let's continue. And Yahushua looking upon them saith, with men it is impossible, but not with God. For with God all things are possible. So all this doubt that you have in your mind, just don't worry about it. The Most High got you. You know what I'm saying? They might not be able to comprehend what he's saying at this moment, but all things possible with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But that what they call it, man pleasing spirit, or I forgot the word. I probably got it in here too. You know what I'm saying? But there's a certain word that fits that what's going on right here perfectly. You know what I'm saying? There's a word that fits it perfectly. You know what I'm saying? But I'll get to it. I'll remember it at some point within this class because I believe it is in one of these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Oops. Hold on. Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 5. Let's go to Wisdom of. I put 8 and 11. I put 8 in H. Oh. No, let me do that again. What the hell's going on? Here we go. There you go. Wisdom of Solomon 8, verse 5. All right. If you dare, read along with me. All right. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? Like King Solomon before he became the wisest man. That's what he wanted. He wanted wisdom. That's where his heart is. You know, his heart was in being the wisest man to ever live, which is a beautiful thing to want. He didn't want all the gold. He didn't want all the diamonds. He didn't want all the the precious linens and all of that. Nah, he didn't want all that. He wanted wisdom. You know why? Because once he had wisdom, everything else will follow. You know what I'm saying? Like we like to say in the hood, once you get the money, everything else will come. You know what I'm saying? But that's not true. Once you get the wisdom, everything else will come. The money will come. You know what I'm saying? The women, you know what I'm saying? The respect, the skills, you know what I'm saying? All that will come with wisdom. But if you're chasing that bag, you'll skip wisdom. You'll miss wisdom altogether. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Deuteronomy 23 and 6. I'm going to speed past a few of these because I was on those first three scriptures a little too long. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all thy days forever. Like, that's the issue. We are trying to be like our oppressor. We are trying to be like them because we see how they are respected all around the world. Ooh, everybody loves white men. You know why they love white men? Because they got all the money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves white women. You know why they love white women? Because they got all the money. That's where our mind goes. So we want to be like them. And in trying to be like them, we recognize how they got to where they got. We recognize how they were able to get to that status of where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And they got there simply because they wanted to be just like them. And wanting to be like them, they did what they did to get there. They did the exact same things they did to get there. And what are those things that they did? They raped, they murdered, they extorted, they frauded, deceived, lied, drugged. They did everything they could to get in the position that that they're in now. And we recognize that, so we try to do the same thing. Brothers are out there selling drugs right now so they can keep up with the Joneses. You know, sisters are on the strip pole right now so they can keep up with the Joneses. And this is the things that they do. And we recognize it, so we want to do it. So I'm going to read that again. Wisdom of Solomon. No, Deuteronomy 23, verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all the days of their life. See, us seeking it is the problem. Us trying to be like them is the problem. Let me tell you something. There's a time when we was not trying to be like them. We was not trying to integrate, was not trying to live their lifestyle. And that was during the Jim Crow era, where we was literally, it was law for us to stay away from them. It was law for us not to be anything like them. And guess what was happening when that law was enforced? We was grown as a people. We was having our own everything. You know what I'm saying? But now, us wanting to integrate and be like them and seek their prosperity and their peace, now we're just like them. But we're at the bottom. We're not at the top, we're at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? We want all that money. Guess what? We can get it. We can do everything that they do to get it, and we will still be at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. Oops, I always do that. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense. That's true. Wisdom is a defense. And money is a defense. Like I was telling y'all, Money is just a defense. Wisdom is a defense. But the difference is money is just a tool. It's going to come and it's going to go, but wisdom's with you forever. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's for. Money's a defense. When you need something, you got it. It's not something for you to stack up on and ball out on. And you know what I'm saying? There's another word I'm forgetting, but it's something like flossing in front of your brother to purposely make him jealous. I forgot what it was. What is that word? If you know that word, type it on there. But you can't be dragging your brother down to jealousy. See, these are the type of things that the Christmas spirit is about. Christmas spirit is all about bragging and flossing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. But you can't be having that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing things like that. Let me read that again from the top. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. That's what the thing is. Wisdom gives life. Money don't give you life. Money might take your life. People don't respect those with money. They pretend like they do. But the truth is they're plotting on them. They're really plotting on them. But wisdom, people respect a wise man. People look up to wise men. They truly do look up to them. You know what I'm saying? And let's drop that. Let's get with where do I want to go now? Yeah, let's go to James. James chapter 2, verse 1. Post that up there. Don't forget, if you got a question, fortunately, it look like I might not be able to see the Facebook ones. But let me take a pause for the cause. I know how I can see the Facebook ones. Hold on. Just in case y'all are writing questions on Facebook. No questions on the Facebook. All right. And no questions on the YouTube. But if you're on Facebook and you want to see the scriptures, you can hop over to YouTube. All right. But let's continue. Let's continue. All right. Where am I at? I'm at James 2 and 16. James chapter 2, verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who y'all ignorantly call Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. That was the word I was. See, the disciples have respect of persons. You know what I'm saying? When it came to that rich man, they didn't see how they couldn't make it, but a rich man could. It like threw them off. If a rich man can't make it, how can I like? But that's where it is. Respect of person. Let's continue. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment. So there's two type of men. There's a rich man coming in all fly. He's all flyed up. You know what I'm saying? Probably got on a Fendi suit and a thick gold chain. You know what I'm saying? And then you got this other dude with all types of holes in his clothes, looking bummy. You know what I'm saying? Hair all unkept, looking real bummy. You probably got jokes for days just thinking about it. These are the type of two men that's coming into the building right now. Well, let's continue. And ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing. Like gay just meant Back then, gay just meant happy. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean feminine, but a lot of these men that try to look extra fly in these Fendi suits do look kind of feminine. But he was wearing gay apparel. You have more respect for him, which is something that we have in the black community. We have more respect for those in the three-piece suits instead of those in the hoodie and the jeans. And I seen a post. I see this post a lot, and it's about black men dressing up back in suits like they did in the 20s and the 30s. I see these type of posts a lot. You know what I'm saying? Black men need to dress back up like this and stuff like that. And that's the type of stuff that they're talking about. Because we respect that goodly look. Whatever society says is a goodly look, we respect men who dress like that as a people. Me personally, I don't. If you're in a three-piece suit, I technically don't even trust you. You look like a lawyer. And I don't trust lawyers. You know what I'm saying? But we respect people like that over the brother in the hoodie and the jeans. You know what I'm saying? But does that mean one's more righteous than the other? Is one more righteous than the other? Nah. Nah, that's just clothes. That's what we got to see it as just clothes. But let's continue. Verse verse 3. And ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there and sit under here under my footstool. Like you're putting the rich man in a good place, you know what I'm saying, setting him up high and putting him on a higher pedestal while you just treating the poor man like trash, man. And that's what they do in the Christian church. That's what they do in the IUIC. That's what they do in all these places that is not the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? These places will put a Kyrie Irving in a Kendrick Lamar on a higher pedestal, give them all types of free gifts, look out for their best interests, while the poor man is forgotten, just forgotten. You know what I'm saying? And that's an issue in the Black and Hispanic community, a straight up and down issue. Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. Got a link from Cap. All right, count. I don't want to count. I'm gonna have to figure out how to download this. I'm gonna play this after class. I might not be able to do it this week, but I'm definitely gonna hold that. Well, I know how I can play it. You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of things that we got to deal with. Matter of fact, let me hit Cat back up and let him know. All right. Now, let's get back to it. I'm going to get back to class. All right. Yeah, Cap's hit me up. Bear with me 1 second. All right, let's get back to it. Where was I at? All Right, yeah, we be setting up the rich man up in high places and just be treating the poor man like trash, man. Right? Let's continue. Verse 4. Are ye not then partial in yourselves and are become judges of evil thoughts? That's the thing. When we do things like that, we become judges of evil thoughts. What's a judge of evil thought? A judge of an evil thought is somebody who is judging matters based on personal gain or personal interest or personal biases. And that's not what righteous judges do. That's not what righteous judges do. And that's what people are doing when they think somebody has more value because of the things that they wear, things that how they look, how they talk. You know what I'm saying? On carnal things, they giving people value because of carnal matters. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith? That's what people seem to forget. God chose Israel. Guess what we were back then? Before we had any kingdom, we were just farmers. Farmers, darn near nomadic farmers too. We were about as poor as it gets. Most High has a special place in his heart for the poor of our people. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Hearken, my beloved brethren. That means, listen, have not God chosen the poor of this world rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him? That's what matters. How they look and everything don't matter. All that matters is in this Israelite society, in this Israelite social structure, is if you are following God's laws and taking care of your people. They go hand in hand. They are one thing. And if you're not doing both, then what are you doing at all? You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. But ye have despised the poor, like your Christian church. Your Christian church has despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you? And that's the funny thing. Everybody look up to rich people and these rich men and our oppressor as if they don't oppress us. We want to be, that's called Stockholm syndrome. That's called Stockholm syndrome. We want to be like those and loved and accepted by those that are literally oppressing us. That's Stockholm syndrome. You know what I'm saying? And draw you before the judgment seats. Now, you and your love for them is going to draw you into the judgment seats. It's going to draw you into the wrath of the Most High because you rather look out for them. You rather march in front of basketball stadiums for them. You rather give out free shirts to them, but to the poor, you do nothing for them. You do absolutely nothing for them, which is the issue, which is straight up and down the issue. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop that. Let's get Proverbs 28 and 11. In Proverbs 28 and 11. All right. The rich man is wise in his own conceit. What does that mean? The rich man is wise because he thinks he is. He probably don't really know nothing. Just because he's rich, he think because the things that he done got him this richness, and that's what makes him wise. That's what he thinks. He thinks he knows more than everybody else because he's rich. He is wise to his own conceit. It's making him big headed, and he really don't know nothing. And that's with us in the world too. We think because somebody's rich that they know more than somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We start putting down the brother that might actually know more, that's actually studied, but he's poor. And we look at him like, what does he know? Look at him. Look at him. Look at them all bumming out here. You know what I'm saying? You got joke for days on it. You know what I'm saying? But we are actually feeding that rich man's ego too. But let's get with it. But the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. But the poor, not every poor has understanding. Some poor people are still chasing the bag. Keep on falling for that banana in the tailpipe. They're still chasing the bag, and guess what? They keep on falling. But there are poor people who just ain't cherishing the riches, and they are poor, and they are searching for something that's way more valuable than these riches. They are searching out the Most High. They are searching out the Most High and the customs that He has given us to live by, which is to take care of each other and these law, statutes, commandments. And it's funny that these law, statute, commandments is making every other nation on the planet rich except for us. Because we want to be like the nations instead of following our laws. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's go for another rapid round. Let's go to now let's go to Ecclesiasticus. This is in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 13 and 19 through 24. Okay, I just left Proverbs 28 and 11. Now we're going to Ecclesiastes 13. You know what I'm saying? So if you're there, it's in the Apocrypha. If you don't know what the Apocrypha is, and if you don't got one, it's books that was taken out of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Books that was taken out of the scriptures due to our oppressors, sneaky and conniving selves wanting to hide certain history from us. They just wanted to hide it from us. They didn't want to keep it from themselves because there's a lot of valuable things being taught in it. You know what I'm saying? So get yourself an apocrypha before the Catholic Church took those books out. They were all a part of the original King James Version translation of 1611. You know what I'm saying? So let's get with it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 19. And if you want to, you can search online for it. I spelt it right. It's spelt actually correctly. You can search it up, you know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to read it along with yourself on your Google machine. You know, tap into your Google machine and you'll be able to find it, all right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 19 and 24. All right. As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so is the rich eat up the poor. So they basically preying on the poor. Rich people prey on the poor just like a lion preys on wild asses. You know what I'm saying? It's just what they do. It's their instinct. And what keeps them richer. Like the saying goes, the poor stay poor while the rich get richer. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. As the proud hate humility, like the proud people hate humility. And who's the most proudest of people? Rich people. You know what I'm saying? So doth the rich abhor the poor. Like there is a hatred for the poor. They look down on us. They look down on the poor with such a disgust. And this is in their nature. This is their instinct. They are literally taught and bred that way. You know what I'm saying? They're literally raised up to think the things they think of poor people. Let's continue. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends. Like when a rich man starts falling, things start going bad for a rich man. Guess what? He is held up by his friends because they depend on that rich man. That rich man actually helping them out. He's actually feeding them for his own greed and lust too. You know what I'm saying? Or they just trying to get what they can from this rich man. They're trying to get whatever crumbs fall from his table, so they will help him and stop him from falling. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. But a poor man being down is thrust away by a friend. Nobody helps that poor man. In fact, they push him down even further. They push him down even further. Might use him as a stepping stool and everything. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. Like a rich man says dumb things, and everybody justifies it. Like a rich man once said, slavery is a choice. You know how many people justified him saying that? Rich people say dumb things. How many dumb things Donald Trump has said? People justify the stupidity of rich people. They justify it. You know why they justify it? Because they have use of that rich man. They don't have no use of that poor man. So they'll make sure that rich man stays up. You know what I'm saying? Only reason why Kanye, he's still a rich man. He's still worth 400 million. That's cash in his pocket. The only reason why he's falling and nobody's helping him is because he upset some richer men. He upset at them. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. All right. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. Like when a poor man says it, they rebuke him. You know what I'm saying? They rebuke him. Like, for example, here's an example. A rich man says that black people are Jews too. Just included us into their ideology of what a Jew is. But then there's poor men in every street corner across America saying that black people are the Jews. Only black people are Jews. And what happens to them? What happens to them? Well, let me tell you what happens to them. They get booed, talked about, water thrown on them, soda, spit upon. You know what I'm saying? People wanting to fight them. You know what I'm saying? Threats. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that happen to the poor man that's saying the same exact thing as the rich man. They get rebuked. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. He spake wisely and could have no place. Like if a poor man speak wisely, guess what? Nobody's gonna respect him. Nobody's gonna look at him. Nobody's gonna respect anything he's saying. They just gonna straight up and down, just put him down, threaten him, or ignore him, and call him all types of foolish. And look at them crazy Negroes on the corner. That's what they do to the poor man. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. Like when a rich man speaketh, When a rich man speaks, you can hear it on Clubhouse. When the rich man speaks, everybody hushes. But when a poor man speaks, everybody's off their mics. When a rich man speaks, like, you'd be amazed how much your woman will listen to her boss more than you. She'll argue with you to up and down the highway. She don't care what you're talking about. But if a boss speaks, she will listen to a boss. You know what I'm saying? Let some rich dude come around right now saying that he has the answer to anything. She will listen intensely. And you say you got the answer to it, she will ignore you. That's not just your woman, that's black people in general. In general. You know what I'm saying? We say, as poor men in the ISUPK say the black people are Jews. We are the true Israelites of God. Nobody listens to us. But when a rich man says it, everybody listens. So let me read that again from the top. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds, like they hold it up. They hold it up like it's the God-given truth. Whatever he says, it gotta be the truth. They hold it up to the clouds. It's a beautiful thing. But if the poor man speak, they say, "What fellow is this? Like, who the hell is he? Who is he? Whose man's is this?" You know what I'm saying? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. That's what we're dealing with, us as black people. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Riches are good unto him that hath no sin. Like, those are the only people that actually have any use of being rich. The people that have no sin. That have no sin. You know what I'm saying? And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. Best believe that. It is an evil thing. You know what I'm saying? But richness is only good to those who don't sin, because we know how to use the money to help others. But when a poor man is when a rich man is poor, when a rich man goes through a little trauma, guess what happens to them? They end up committing suicide. If they're not committing suicide, guess what they're doing? They're not trying to commit suicide. Guess what they're trying to do? They are trying to take over. They're trying to get their money back by hook or by crook. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. Well, let's get back. Let's go to let's drop that. Let's go to Matthew 6:24. We go to Matthew 6:24. If you're there, read along with me. All right, bear with me one sec. All right. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters. Understand that. That sounds pretty simple, right? That sounds pretty straight to the point. No man can serve two masters, right? It's pretty simple. One master tells you go left and the other one tells you go right. How can you please them both? It makes sense, right? You can't serve two masters. For either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. Like, this is the thing. You can't love them both. You can't follow them both. You gotta love one and hate the other. You know what I'm saying? Which is going to bring, like, the end of this verse is going to bring everything into understanding on why the rich man couldn't make it into heaven, because he can't serve two masters. Right? Let's continue. You cannot serve God and mammon. You can't serve God and mammon. Like, the Christian church would like to let you believe that mammon is some type of heathenistic god or character. But no, mammon is actually just money. Mammon is money. It's not no false god, even though people treat money like it's a god, and you can actually say it is. But mammon is actually just, as you see here, mammon, noun, material wealth or possessions, especially as having a debasing influence. It even has the verse up here that we just read. It's material wealth or possessions, especially as having a debasing influence, because you're not using the money correctly. That's what it is. So you can't serve God and mammon. See that? You can't serve two gods, period. If money is that rich man's God, if he ain't willing to sell everything he has and give it to the poor, if he ain't willing to use his money to help the poor, then he serves mammon. He serves his money. He serves his wealth. He serves his possessions. That's what he does. And you can't serve God in both. You can't. You got to choose one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like Bishop Lamar Whitehead, he chose mammon. He don't follow the Most High. He don't follow God at all. He don't follow God at all. You know what I'm saying? He follows mammon. And in fact, I want to play a video real quick. I want y'all to watch this video with me. All right, this is a Dorchester pastor, right? Let's play it.
Not just inside that church, but also at his home and inside the food truck he apparently runs. Thousands of dollars worth of drugs that his family says weren't his.
That's crazy. That's a lie. Well, I don't got nothing else to say.
The family of Willie Wilkerson outside the church where he once preached, defending the man they say is innocent.
I love you, Uncle Willie, and you know that God's going to clear you from everything and everybody.
Willie Wilkerson not at the church today, but in a courtroom after police say he was dealing these drugs on his property.
In total, there was found to be approximately 34 grams of crack cocaine, 11 grams of fentanyl, 50 oxycodone pills.
Cocaine inside coffee makers, prescription pills inside printers, $20,000 worth of drugs found at Mission Church, at Victoria's Food Kitchen trailer, and at his Baker Avenue home.
Especially when they collect the money, in their little tins, like, what are you really using it for? Are you using it to hide it? Are you using it to buy the drugs?
That's the first time I ever heard of that, ever coming out of a church.
Wilkerson's lawyer says he rents those properties out, and that will be central to his defense of the pastor. Wilkerson does have a history of drug-related charges and has already served time for similar crimes.
He's supposed to be a pastor, a person of the church.
Now, because of that history, Wilkerson won't be able to get out for quite a while. We've learned these new charges meant that he was in violation of his probation, and that means he's not even eligible for bail in this case until the end of July. We're live in Roxbury tonight. I'm Abby Nisgo to NBC.
Like that's what we dealing with. Your Christian pastors straight up and down, just straight up and down selling drugs straight out the church. And this ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? What's that pastor that wants to sell, you know what I'm saying, wants to grow weed and that's he took over Eddie Long's church. Pastor Jamal something, right? He took over Eddie Long's church. And he wants to sell weed straight out of there. Know why? Because they serve mammon. They don't serve God. They serve mammon. They serve money. They serve riches. They serve fame. They don't serve the most high of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. My fault. Matter of fact, now let's drop that. There's no more on that. Let's get Ecclesiasticus back in the Apocrypha, 40 and 18. Ecclesiasticus 40 and 18. Because that's the problem with these Christians, man. They're not content with what they got. And they are supposed to be leaders. They are supposed to be shepherds. They're supposed to be taking care of the flock. But instead, they out there hunting for riches and gain. And that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all seen that video I just played. You know what I'm saying? A couple of those people in that video I actually know. You know what I'm saying? And they're not in the condition to give a fair, balanced judgment on this. Because they might be victims of his. You know what I'm saying? But let's read it. Ecclesiasticus 40 and 18. To labor and to be content with that a man hath. Like you working and you got to be content with what you got. You know what I'm saying? You're laboring, you putting in work. Be content with what you got. Be content with you. I ain't saying that you can't, you know what I'm saying, make more money. I'm saying just don't worship that money. Just don't have money on the forefront of your mind. Don't think that money's the answer to everything. Because that's when the trap gets you. That's when you fall for the trap right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. To labor and to be content with that a man hath is a sweet life. Because you're happy, you're relaxed, you're not worried, you got no worries. You got no worries, you're good. But he that findeth a treasure is above them both. But there is a treasure. And what is that treasure? That treasure is wisdom. That treasure is now. That treasure is this brotherhood in the ISUPK. That is the treasure that is better than it all. Because that's what a rich man's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be supporting the brotherhood, supporting his family. But he doesn't. Because he'd rather hold on to his riches. He'd rather hold on to his greed and multiply it. Like there's a verse. I think it's in Deuteronomy. I think it's in Deuteronomy 17. I ain't gonna say it verbatim because you know the verbatim game is not my gift. But I think it's in Deuteronomy 17 when it says that a king should not multiply horses, women, and gold upon himself. But all the Christians only focus on he shouldn't multiply women. But they seem to forget that it also says you can't multiply gold upon yourself. But let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with making money. It's when that making money draws you away from the Most High is the issue. That's the issue. You shouldn't let that draw you away from the Most High. Period. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Whitehead did. That's what, you know what I'm saying, that we church in Atlanta's doing. That's what Eddie Long did. That's what Martin Luther King did. That's what Malcolm X did. That's what every black leader you could think of. They let that money, that's what Judas did. Judas betrayed Christ for 30 pieces of silver. That's what every Christian pastor is doing now. Betraying Christ for 30 pieces of silver. I know I can tell you right now, that's definitely what them purple cats do. They'll tell you straight up and down they'll snitch. And that's what Judas did to Christ. Judas snitched on Christ for 30 pieces of silver. And those purple cats will straight up and down tell you that they snitch. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you something. That's not the money is not the route that you should be going. Start following these law, statutes, commands. That's what you should first start doing. Learning it. Learn that. And from there, start living it. And from there, everything else will follow. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop that. Let's stay in Ecclesiasticus. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 30. 10 and 30. Oh, excuse me. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill. And that's the truth. You recognize the poor man in his skill. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're trying to save a buck or two yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's when you go to the local car part dealer and you're gonna see a couple of old heads out there sipping on a beer, and you're gonna need some car help. And you recognize that these cats got skills. You recognize a poor man's skills. You know what a poor man can do. He is honored for his skills because guess what? That's all he has. All he has is his skills. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And the rich man is honored for his riches, like a rich man is honored for what he has. A poor man is honored for his skills, a rich man is honored for what he got. You know what I'm saying? That's like wisdom and riches. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom and riches. Once again, let's continue. Verse 31. He that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? Like, you ever seen a dude use a poor man use his skills and he becomes rich? We see that a lot nowadays. When a poor man uses his skills to get rich. Well, not get rich, but get money. You know what I'm saying? If he's honored as a poor man, how much more would he be honored as a rich man? He'll be more respected. He'll be more respected because you've seen him from the bottom to the top. You've seen him use his skill and his gift to get to where he's at. And you know there's a good chance that he ain't forget those people that helped him. You know what I'm saying? There's a good chance he ain't gonna be using people. So you honor him for the skills, especially when he uses it to make money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't cheating out nobody. He ain't robbing nobody. He ain't murdering nobody. You know what I'm saying? He's using his skills to make money. Let's continue. And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? Like if you don't respect a man when he's rich, how much more you going to? How much less you going to respect him when he's poor? How much more you going to respect him when he's poor? You're not. You're not going to respect him at all. You're not going to respect him one iota. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna chill one sec. I'm gonna try to get this class Cap sent me something. I'm gonna try to bear with me one sec. Bear with me. I gotta figure out a way how to get this from my phone to I know a way. Bear with me one second. I'm gonna figure this out. I wanna get play this video. Oh, I gotta press the allow button. My bad. Bear with me. Bear with me one second. Here it is. Here it is. Give it a few seconds to upload. I'm going to get you to play this promo. I'll try to play this promo after every class. I'm going to tie these promos to the end of YouTube videos too. So I'm almost there. Bear with me. Almost there. All right, it's uploaded. It's analyzing. Now it's processing. Bear with me one sec. Man, this processing's taking a while. Just remember, if you want to be a part of the school and getting all black, man, just call the number that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I'll plug you right in and get you right. All right. All right, with that, I want to end the class. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shabarakathah to all my brothers. Yahweh Shemar Latham Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. Shalom.